In this video, we're going to go over a complete different direction than what I've been teaching you guys so far, in which we're going to be externally rotating the arm. Sometimes our body positioning, we don't have the option to move our hip all the way over, and the Kimura control and the internal rotation of our opponent's shoulder is just very difficult to do. And so, anytime I have an armbar positioning, and I might be leaning a little more this way, a lot of positions, a lot of different circumstances in which this might be something that happens more often. I have this bottom arm still weaved through because that's the arm I prefer to be attacking. But at this point, it makes more sense for me to try and use an attack of either sliding down to his wrist or keeping it at his elbow, using base and bringing his arm out this direction. As I talked about earlier when we were talking about thumb up and thumb down, the main thing is I don't want his arm like this, where his wrist is in a straight line through his shoulders with his elbow, because this is a very strong grip. If I try and break Kevin from here, very difficult to do. He's in strong structure. But if I can internally rotate the shoulder, he becomes very weak. If I can externally rotate the shoulder, he'll become very weak. The only thing we've got to be concerned about is obviously if I do this, he ends up turning with this and moving. So, what I'm going to be doing is just controlling with this deep grip of the arm on the bicep. I am engaging, pulling up. His arm is always going to be at somewhat of an L bend because he's got to grip his other arm together here. And so what I'm doing is I'm creating a pull back, but also a pull up against his forearm, because no matter what, he's holding here. So I can lift up and see how that lifts his shoulder. It makes it very easy, very strong to engage and stop him from being able to extract the elbow, because as much as we're concerned about the hitch hiker, where he's going to turn away from me, I'm also got to make sure that I got strong enough control that if he just turns into me and withdraws his elbow like this, that doesn't happen. So here I'm engaging. Here I'm going to take this foot, instead of keeping like my feet crossed at this point, I prefer you to turn and bring your foot, curling your heel into his hip and taking your knee and dropping this down. This is going to make the shoulder more pinned down to the mat, and it's going to make his hips harder for him to walk away. If I go like this, he can now freely move his hips and lift his shoulder. And so if I'm controlling like this, walk away and do the hitch hiker kind, like this is where he's going to start turning that direction. If I can control with my leg here, I'm going to be able to stop him from being able to withdraw his head, and so that's going to be one of my first points. But also, instead, I'm going to have this leg here curling at his hip, bring it down on the hip here, on his chest. And so now as Kevin tries to walk away from me, I can't let that head come out. If he's able to slip the head out and then start rotating around and going for that hitch hiker, then me blocking his hip here is actually what's going to be preventing the hitch hiker at that point. So together, it helps. I'm going to use my entire body to be able to break this grip. So instead of just trying to turn here, I'm going to post my leg in the base, and I'm going to actually lift my hips, and I'm going to stand out. The further I get to the end of the lever, the stronger the force that I'm going to be generating into his arm to break the grip, but it's also that much closer to slipping out. This is really safe, but if I'm doing this against a really strong guy, I'll never break the grip. If I go here, I will break the grip every time, but then there's also, I just got to make sure I'm really on point with my control and my sensitivity, so that if he tries to withdraw the elbow, I stay with him. Don't just muscle it, go like this, and then potentially lose it all. So here, he's got the grip together. I'm just leaning off to the side. I got this arm in base. This is really important because if he bridges into me and tries to like move me back or anything, this is going to be the direct opposing force. Here, I curl. I slide down to his wrist. And I'm just looking to try and bring his hands above his head. The more his hands go above his head, the more externally rotated his shoulders are, the weaker he is. And from here, I can't quite break the grip, so I need to incorporate my hips, and I'm just going to lift myself. And my foot is really planted into the mat, so he still can't walk his hips away. And then I'm extending this. I'm taking this grip out like here, so that if he tries to grip his hands together, he can't. And now I'm going to walk it all the way back and switch to this direction. I still want to finish the same way, but I'm just having to break the grip first. So here, he's gripping this together. It's an explosive motion where I'm here, gripping it, breaking it, and there. We can do a similar thing the other direction if we had to, where if I had the S grip or the spider web grip, and I'm here, where I'm able to break his posture, control, hand and base, moving this down to his wrist, my entire body, driving this over to then finish into the arm bar. So try to never get into this battle of your arms versus your opponent's arms. Use your whole body so you have a high concentration of force, and you'll always win the battle.